reply, "Why, darling, I'm wearing it."
Late night lineup, as you can see, looks rather different tonight. We're not in our usual lineup studio. We're taking a night out to celebrate this, our 1000th edition. Everyone who works on Late Night Lineup is here with many of our friends.
Good evening. Good evening. Right, switch off your sets, ladies and gentlemen. This is about it, right? Who would have thought 1,000 years ago that we would be sitting here today on the millionth anniversary of Late Night Lineup for LNMRSNUP, as it's known to intimates and sophisticates all over the world. I don't know who would have thought, Pete. But I think we must proffer a heartfelt congratulations to Mr. David Attenborough here. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. Bless his cotton socks. Who moved on from the heady world of making wonderful documentary films about the mating habits of Almond and Michaela Dennis to pioneer a system of television unrivaled throughout the whole human world, not to mention ants.
Good evening. Tonight we have a discussion of the programme Not Only But Also, and with me in the studio to discuss the programme we have critic Lyndon Probes. Good evening. And joining him, two newcomers to Late Night Lineup. First, the sweetheart of Drury Lane and the star of many musical comedy hits of yesteryear, such as My Ukulele Dreamboat and Sweet Jamie O'Casey, Miss Deirdre Flank.
That's going back quite a bit, isn't it? Good evening.
Secondly, someone who is directly connected with the programme every week, Dud.
Oh, sorry. Good evening.
I'd like to start the ball rolling with a question to Lyndon Probes. Lyndon, do you think there's a danger that this kind of programme might give birth to a lot of second-rate imitations and thus contaminate television viewing for people?
Well, I think the damage has been done already, hasn't it, really? I mean, if people can't think of anything more original than doing sketches and having musical items, then I'm very sorry for them. I mean, we have seen it all before, haven't we? Mind you, the stars of this show, Peter Cook Dudley Moore, are frightfully young. I mean, they probably haven't seen very much of life. Perhaps with a little more experience of people and the real earthiness of life, and life as it's really lived, this crude clay of modern living. Then perhaps they'll produce something more compelling and pertinent for us.
Thank you very much, Lyndon. Miss Flank, or Deirdre if I can call you that, you were the toast of the West End some 30 years ago, weren't you? Before Cook and Moore were born. What do you think of the mixture, this new mixture of satire and whimsy that people term the new comedy?
Well, it seems to me that the new comedy merely consists of saying filthy words like B-L-O-D-Y. And you especially seem to favour that word more than it deserves.
Bloody souls.
Oh! You see, in my day, we didn't have to rely on such things as bad language, you know? I mean, mine was an era of charm and gaiety and love. You know, men were gallant and courteous. They weren't sexy and insolent. And as far as I was concerned, this programme, not only but also whatever, didn't have a patch on the old musical comedy.
It's super, a guest all to sing with this lovely orchid. Absolutely super. Isn't he a sweetie? Isn't he a sweetie? Isn't he a sweetie? Isn't he a sweetie? Look, I'm asking you, isn't he a sweetie? Absolute sweetie, yes.
1 minute.
Look, we'll have to hurry up. Come on, dear. Do you think these eyelashes are rather too much? Well, they're a bit too much for my fancy. I think they're a little too true. There we are. On with the butler.
Going to be the same format as before?
No, all the show this time is going to be underwater. That's the only difference from the last series. It's very similar. Oh, good heavens, who should it be?
Good heavens.
Good heavens, who should it be?
My partner in
My
crime
diminutive
himself.
partner. What a wonderful creature you
How
are.
extraordinary. What are you doing in this part of the world?
Mainly rapine and pillage.
Oh, I thought so. That's what I'm here for, too.
My further solicitors brought me down here.
Yes.
This is an extraordinary thing for a chap who's named after a bishop to be doing, isn't it?
Well, it is really. But as I have said in the past, and will say again, the ways of the world are very strange.
Which
Named
bishop
after-
were you named after?
I have no idea. It's
Archbishop Dudley Moore of Southend.
of Worthing.
But you, Peter, you were intended for the Foreign Service, weren't you? You haven't quite ended up in it.
No. I expect I'll perform in more and more distant parts as my career continues. But I thought of going to the Foreign Office. They hadn't ever thought of having me, so it probably would never have come to anything.
I think it was my anonymous letter to them that kept him out.
Rather nips it in the bud.
You both came together in Beyond the Fringe. Now, satire's gone out, yet your humour is more popular than it's ever been. Why do you think this is?
Well, I don't think satire has gone out. I don't think what we're doing is satire, so it's not, the two questions don't really link up. I don't think if our humour is more popular, it's merely because it's on television and being seen by more people.
I mean, I think there's just good satire and bad satire. I think there's probably more bad satire about the place
And then, of
than
course,
there ever has been.
there's rotten satire as well.
They're rotten, of course, that's going a bit far.
Then you get your noxious satire.
You're not just in your garbage satire.
And you get your satire on everything that is human. Your satire on animals. Satirical pokes at the animal kingdom, of course.
Yeah.
Very popular in the 14th century, when, of course, many bishops and nuns used to wander about looking for sustenance in small towns.
It's good evening.
Good evening. And now we bring you Scottish Half Hour, Round and About, a programme for regional viewers.
You better get in quick.
Yeah, I've been trying for the last half. You two think so much alike. You must live so much together. Don't you ever get sick of each other's company?
We do
Well,
live together in a lovely little cottage made of teasel wood and marzipan.
And every day we go out and cover ourselves with leaves. I suppose we do think alike. Let's say I think now the same way as Peter does, having come under his
He's my
ghastly influence.
Rudy, my dear fellow, how are you?
What's so funny?
It's your face, Rudy, but welcome home. How are you, Count Ludwig? How's Bavaria? Well, you know Bavaria. Sometimes she's like a woman's smile in Easter. Sometimes she's like a small spider web glinting in the summer sun. And sometimes she's like a gnat who dances on the water.
These flies.
Aren't they appalling? But you, Rudy! Rudy, where have you been?
I've been fighting in the campaign in Saxony.
But what possessed you to go and fight in that bloody war?
I went there to forget.
To forget what, Rudy?
I forget.
And now you've returned to remember. And what better way of remembering than with a glass of fine Alsatian beer?
Let's wine and dance and sing the night away. Fräulein, ale!
Drink, 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 to eyes that are bright and stars that are shining on me. Drink, 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 to lips that are red and sweet as the fruit on the tree. Here's a hope that those bright eyes will shine, lovingly, lovingly soared into mine. May those lips that are red and sweet tonight with joy my own lips meet. Drink, drink, let the toast start. May young hearts never part. Drink, 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 let every true lover salute his sweetheart. May she give me a priceless boon, her love beneath the sweet May moon. Drink, drink, let the toast start. May young hearts never part. Drink, 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 let every true lover salute his sweetheart. Let's drink.
There we were. Whose round is it?
I think it's yours.
Oh.
Come in here a moment, would you please?
Here. You've been ferreting around in my sandwich box, haven't you?
I certainly have, and I found something not altogether connected with sandwiches. I refer, of course, to Blauvetter's Encyclopedia of Sexual Knowledge. How do you explain this?
I found it on the heath, Pete, and I thought I'd better keep it in my sandwich to keep it dry, you know, until someone claimed it.
You've been hiding it away, aren't you, because you're ashamed of it?
No, I haven't. I just kept it there for safekeeping.
You shouldn't be ashamed of sex, Dad. It's no good hiding your sex away in your sandwich tin. Bring it out in the open.
It's a good book, there's some good bits in it. Have you read any of it?
Yes, I've been through it up to page 3001.
Oh, you've read the whole lot then, haven't you?
Yes, it's quite good, isn't it?
I like it because it tells you everything about sex from the word go, doesn't it?
Well, it's a wonderful thing about the sexual mores throughout the ages, Dad.
And it shows you humans' sexual endeavour from the time of Adam and Eve, Pete.
It certainly does. All the myths about it as well. Of course, Adam and Eve, while they were in the Garden of Eden, they didn't have anything to do with sex to start with, you know. When they were in paradise, they didn't have anything to do with sex. Because they were wandering around naked, but they didn't know they were naked.
I bet they did know. I mean, you soon know once they get caught up on the brambles, wouldn't you?
No, they had no idea. They were remarkably stupid as well as naked, and they didn't know they were naked till up came the servant. Or no, rather the serpent.
Serpent, yeah.
Well, serpent in servant's guise, as some authorities have it.
Yeah.
Up came the serpent and said, "Here's an apple. Lay your teeth into that." And then they lay their teeth in the apple, and then the serpent said, "You're nude. You're completely nude."
Hello, nudies.
Hello, nudies. And,
of course, they dashed off into the brush and covered themselves with embarrassment, didn't they?
And, of course, mulberry leaves as well. They covered themselves all together with this primitive clothing made of leaves. And suddenly, as soon as they become completely covered, they began to get attracted to each other. And then, of course, they tore off the mulberry leaves and it all started, the whole business.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, once you get clothes on, you're more attracted to other people. Like, I think Aunt Dolly's more attractive with clothes on than off. So Uncle Bert says, anyway.
Yes, well, Aunt Dolly is really at her most attractive when she's completely covered in wool and has a black veil over her. And ideally, she should be in another room from you.
But who is your sort of ideal woman, Pete?
Well, above all others, I covet the elfin beauty. The gazelle slim elfin beauty. Very slim, very slender, but all the same still being endowed with a certain amount of...
busty substances.
Yes. A kind of Audrey Hepburn with Jane Mansfield overtones. What I go for.
Yeah. Well,
what do you like?
Me too, the same sort of thing. But actually, I like the sort of woman who throws herself on you and tears your clothes off with rancid sensuality.
Yes, they're quite good, aren't they? I think you're referring to rampant sensuality.
Well, either one will do. But, of course, the important thing is that they tear your clothes off.
That's the chief thing, whether it's rampant. I like a good rampant woman.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, a rampant woman, or rancid, whichever you prefer, that was Veronica Pilbrow.
Oh,
Do you remember
goodness,
her?
yes, I remember her. Do I remember her, yeah.
She always used to throw herself on Roger Braintree. Never me, though.
Yeah, well, Roger Braintree at school, he always knew much more than everyone else, didn't he? He's always boasting about the things he knew much more than anyone else.
Oh, clever drawers, wasn't he, eh?
Yeah. Remember that time he come round behind the wooden buildings?
Yeah.
And he had, what was his name?
Kenny Vare.
Kenny Vare with him. And he come up and told me, he said, I've discovered the most disgusting word in the world. It's so filthy that no one's allowed to see it except bishops. And nobody knows what it means. What? It's the worst word in the world.
What was the word?
Well, he wouldn't tell me. I had to give him half a pound of peppermints before he let it out. Do you know what it was?
What?
Bastard. Bastard.
What's that mean, Pete?
Well, he wouldn't tell me, so I knew it was filthy, but I didn't know how to use it. So he said the only place I could see it was down at the town hall in the enormous dictionary. They have the enormous one with a whole volume to each letter. And you can only get in with a medical certificate. So I went down there and sneaked in, you know, very secretively, and went up and I took down from the shelf this enormous, great, dusty bee and brought it down and opened it up, and there was the word in all its horror. Bastard.
What was the definition, Pete?
It said bastard, child born out of wedlock.
Yeah. What's a wedlock, Pete?
Wedlock, Dad, is a horrible thing. It's a mixture of a steam engine and a padlock. And some children are born out of them instead of the normal way, and it's the filthiest word in the world, Dad.
It'll make your hair drop out if you say
if you
it.
see that, yeah.
But I like looking words up in a dictionary. I like going down the Valence Library into the reference library and getting out the dictionary of unconventional English out and looking up bloomers.
Yeah, that's quite a good way of spending an afternoon, I suppose.
Because I'll tell you what, Pete, actually, the whole business of sex is a bit of a letdown, really, when you compare it with the wonderful romantic tales of the novelist who can portray sexual endeavours in so much better form.
Well,
Pete.
he makes it all so perfect. In the hands of a skilled novelist, sex becomes something which can never be attained in real life. Have you read Neville Shute?
Well, very little.
How much of Neville Shute have you read?
Nothing.
Yes, well, Shute is a master of sensuality. He has some wonderful erotic passages. There's Town Like Alice, which is a wonderful book, in the hardcover version, page 81. If you go down the library, it falls open at that page. It's a description set in Australia, Dad, and of this ash blonde girl, Tina. And
Tina, don't you be mean now.
Shut up. She's standing on the runway, you see, of this aerodrome. And it's very hot, Australian bush heat, and very hot indeed. And she's standing there waiting for her rugged Aussie pilot to come, bronzed Tim Bragley. And it's very hot. The cicadas are rubbing their legs together and making that strange... very similar to that ghastly noise which is coming from your mouth at this very moment. And it's very hot and she's covered in dust. The Australian dust is all over her. She's got dust on her knees, dust on her shoulders.
Dust on her bust, Pete.
Dust on her bust, as you so rightly point out, Dad. And she's very dusty and very hot. Hot and dusty, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, the clouds open. There's a tremendous clap of thunder, and suddenly the mongoose is on her. Tropical rainstorm is soaking through the frail poplin she's wearing, and as the dress gets damper and damper, her wonderful frail form is outlined against the poplin. And then, what does she hear? But in the distance, she hears a distant buzzing of an approaching plane. She cups her ear like this to hear that...
She cups her perfectly proportioned up-thrusting ear, Pete.
Coral pink as well. Anyway, she cups it, and the plane comes down, goes on the runway, comes to a halt, and out comes the bronzed Aussie. But all the propellers are going very fast still. There's a tremendous rushing wind, and it blows up against her, and it blows the damp dress right up against her, and reveals for all the world to see her perfectly defined...
Busty substance.
Busty.
What happens after that, Pete?
Well, the bronze pilot goes up to her, and they walk away, and the chapter ends in 3 dots.
What do 3 dots mean, Pete?
Well, in Shoot's hands, 3 dots can mean anything, but...
How's your father, perhaps?
Usually means a bit of that, but Shoot always uses 3 dots. It means use your own imagination. That's what it means. Conjure the scene up yourself. Whenever I see dots, I feel all funny.
Well, it's put me in the mood to go up the Balanced Library and look up bosom again.
No, it's no good looking up bosom. It only says, see bust.
Well, it's nice to read it all again, isn't it?
Well, it gives you something to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely. Right.
Has it been in the full half hour?
Yeah.
Under the tongue?
Yeah.
No cheating?
No, honestly.
You've not been breathing in rapidly and cooling it?
No, of course not.
All right, let's have a look.
Ah.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
What's it say, Pete?
It's 98 degrees, 0.4.
That's normal, isn't it?
That's normal, Dad. That's a dreadful thing to be at this time of the year.
Oh, that's suspicious, isn't it?
Like, few people are normal at this time of the year.
Yeah.
Should be about 98.3 is normal temperature.
I do hate having a cold, don't you? I mean, why does God have to plague us with germs and things?
How dare you say that? How dare you accuse God of plaguing you with germs? It's nothing of the sort. The germs are plagued by you far more. Do you know the germs were the first things to be invented? The first thing which was created was the germs.
Really?
He said, let there be germs, and there they were, millions of them, covering the face of the earth, having a wonderful time, swimming about, going for picnics, having a marvellous time. And then after a few million years, God became a bit bored with the germs, being so small, couldn't see them from his lofty stance, you see, and so he invented the human being. And then the poor old germ had to start flying up people's nostrils and creeping all over the place. They don't like doing it.
No.
Not one bit.
No, I'm sure they do, actually. But there are a lot of them about, aren't there, Pete?
Well, they're omnipresent, though.
Yeah.
They're omnipresent.
They're in the air, they're in bed, they're in your socks there. I mean, only the other day, Mr. Rigby, he sat on a germ-ridden radiator and he contracted Polaroids.
They're the things what develop in 8 seconds, aren't they? Very quick working disease, the worst kind. But you know, whatever you say about disease, it is a wonderful thing. Because if it wasn't for disease and suffering and all the ghastly tornadoes and things like happen like that, ordinary life wouldn't be happy. You wouldn't enjoy yourself when you're having a good time if you didn't have disease to fear and look back on.
Yeah, that's true enough. Mind you, Pete, I've had my toll of disease.
Have you had your toll?
I've had my lot of suffering in this world, mate.
When did you have it?
Well, when I was 3, Pete, I nearly died, you know.
I had no idea.
When I was a mere babe, my face was all blue. I could hardly breathe. You know, and my mum didn't know what was wrong, and Dr. Armstrong from Green Age didn't know what was wrong, and no one knew what was wrong, and finally a great surgeon found a solution to it all.
What was the cause of it?
The cause of the disease was my father holding me underwater for 10 minutes.
It's a hereditary disease, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, in the family, there's a lot of those about.
Yeah. But you know what I don't understand, Pete? It's in this world of scientific advancement, of technological miracles, when man is reaching out into the unknown and into space with loony probes. Why there's no cure for the common cold?
Ah, the common cold was cured a few years back by Mr. Wainwright. Mr. Wainwright of Harleston invented a cure for the common cold. He came across it in some fig jelly. A terrible mould of one kind or the other. So he wrote up to Boots about it. But during that same night, 2 burly men come from the British Handkerchief Association and they bunged him £2 million in used notes, and he's off another harmers now with some blonde floozy, I dare say. Burnt his solution.
Yeah. Terrible, that, isn't it?
I do, you know, there are some wonderful cures about. I mean, I was reading in Reveal the other day, in the medical section, I read that the Chinese have got this wonderful system of agriculture.
No, it's aquapuncture, the science of the pin. And what a wonderful science that is.
What a wonderful science.
Chinese, for example, if you've got toothache in China, you ring up the Chinese doctor, all he comes round with is a little pin. That's all he has in a black bag, you see. And he says, so you've got toothache, takes out his pin, and with uncanny Chinese precision, Dad, he bangs it right into your lumbar regions.
Where's that, Pete?
Well, lumbar region is a technical medical word for the bum. Bangs the pin in the bum, and of course, you forget about the pain in your jaw, and you start thinking about the pain in your bum, Dad. Toothache gone, away down
there. Toothache gone, but bum ache.
I see the Chinese doctor, before the ache can develop in the bum, bangs it in the knee, so you've got knee ache. Okay, so it comes straight to the knee.
And then he goes round the body.
He goes round the whole body.
One step ahead all the
One
time.
step ahead of the pain. Yeah. And as soon as he's run out of the whole human body, then he gives the pin to the patient and says, go out and stick it in other people. And you go out and stick it in other people and get a good laugh when you see them jump up in the air. And you stop thinking about your own disease and you start enjoying other people.
Yeah.
One of the best medicine, that.
Yeah. Mind you, we have some wonderful folk cures our side of the Atlantic.
The
you know,
gypsy cure.
Yeah. As you know, my mum is a part-time gypsy. And,
She is a Roman, is she?
yeah, but she wasn't built in a day.
Of course she wasn't. She took 9 months like everyone else.
It's a joke, Pete, never mind. No, when I used to get earache, which I built in a day, I'll tell you about it later. When I used to get earache, when I was a mere sapling and still at my mother's breast, she used to put a footny bit.
Where did she put the footny bit?
This cold's getting me down, yeah. She used to put a footny bit under my pillow and tie my ear to the door with a bit of string and slam the door very hard.
What effect did this somewhat primitive treatment have on the ear, Dad?
They nearly tore my ear off.
And to the door?
Well, the handle fell off.
Sounds like a rather useless cure.
Oh, it was totally useless.
A useless folk cure.
But mind you, Pete, I think half the complaints and diseases in the world are in the mind, you know.
That's where they have their origins, Dad. In the human mind. That's where it all begins. Psychopathetic things come up.
Yeah.
And in the sebaceous glands, everything starts moving. Yeah. It's all in the mind. Just tell yourself, I've not got a cold, and you won't have a cold.
Really?
Yes.
I've not got a cold.
There, you're cured.
I'll sneeze, Pete.
No, you didn't sneeze. You thought you sneezed. No, you thought you sneezed again, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, be careful. I don't want to catch your mind.
I better put this back again, haven't I?
Bung that back. Test your reaction.
Oh.